What the Heck is Touhou? This is going to be a panel that I will introduce what Touhou is all about. So how many people have maybe seen the character I'm dressed up as before? Okay, cool, most of you. How many of you guys know what Touhou is already? Oh, okay. But some of you also. Okay, cool. So for those who don't know what Touhou is, then I will introduce, what it is and what's so cool about it and how popular it is. And then if you know a little bit about it, hopefully you'll pick up something new or have some interesting things to contribute as I go along. So let's get started. So before I talk about what Touhou is, I have to I want to introduce the setting that Touhou takes place in the sense of what the Japanese fan community is like. Because Japan, as you know, is where anime manga comes from, and there's a lot of fan culture and fan community events that occur, and a lot of energy that fans devote into the whole anime, comics, and games economy, or community. So I'm going to introduce you a website called Niconico Doga, Comiket, talk a little about Doujin in general, and then I'll go into Touhou. So Niconico Doga is a video sharing website, kind of like YouTube, but there's two differences that I think are really cool. The first part is you've seen a screenshot on the slide. There's comments or there's words written across the front of the video, and those are comments that people type in as the videos are playing. So if there's a really funny moment, people will go lol 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 lol, like whenever it's funny, or whenever something's really sad or something, people go oh cry or whatever. And so when you watch the movie, you'll get to interact or see all the other comments people made at that time. So it's sort of like watching it, with everyone at the same time, but not really. So you can see all the comments people make at the same time. So it's sort of like a more community event, and it's something that's pretty cool. You don't only read the comments at the very end of the movie, and you don't really know where they're coming from, but you can actually see the comments while the movie's playing. So it's really, really cool. The other thing that makes Niconico Doga different from YouTube is that a lot of the content on Niconico Doga is user created. They're not things that are like from TV shows or from anime shows or from like music companies like Time Warner or Universal Studios or whatever. They're actually things that people make by themselves and put up. And so Niconico Doga has a lot of people who like to make stuff, like to make videos, like to sing, like to draw, like to put artwork up and stuff like that. So that's something that makes Niconico Doga pretty unique. Mads are sort of like the Japanese versions of AMVs. And you have anime mads where you take clips from anime and you put them into a sequence with music. You have still picture mads where you draw artwork and then you put music to it. Or you have unison mads, which are not as common in the Western fandom, where you take two completely different shows or games or something, and you take the characters or the song or something from one show and mix it with the animation or something from the other show. So for example, this screenshot is from the K-On! Opening, but then they put the Vocaloid characters in it, and they have the Vocaloid sing the song. So it's pretty fun, cool mad that I thought was really nice. Comiket, or Comic Market, is the biggest convention in the world devoted to solely something related to anime or manga. And it is held twice a year in Tokyo, and usually there are almost 500,000 people go over the whole weekend, 3 days, to go and buy stuff and sell stuff. And one thing that's really interesting that people don't know about when they first hear about Comiket is that 70% of the person circles are female. So that's something that I thought was really, really cool when I first saw it. Because usually when you think of like doujins in the Western anime fandom, you might think of like, oh, it's all perverted stuff, or it's all for like really old guys who have these weird fetishes. But actually, a lot of fan energies is both male and female targeted. So that's something that's really cool. So here's a little screenshot of what Comiket looks like, and it's on a completely different scale from anything you would have imagined in the US, because there's just so many people who like drawing and like making stuff related to anime and manga. Doujin is the things that you sell at Comiket, and it means self-made and usually making something that you like to share with other people. So, for example, this tapestry right here is made by a Doujin group, or Doujin circle is what they're called in Japan. And the circle is called City Plays. And so they had an artist draw this really awesome picture of the main character from Touhou, and then they made these tapestries and they sold them at Comiket. You can also make doujinshi, which are like manga, which is some of them pictured over there. Manga is by far the most popular because it's really easy. You just draw pictures, pile into a book, and then sell it. So they're really, really popular in Japan. In the US, you see more like posters and keychains and bookmarks and that sort of thing. But in Japan, by far the most popular thing is books. But there's also things, and most of the most popular things are parodies of existing works, like Touhou. But you can also have original things. And Touhou was originally a doujin, so it wasn't made by a company or anything like that. And Touhou at Comiket. So if you go, into the Comiket and look for, Touhou items, then you will see this, really, really steep trend that keeps increasing year after year of Touhou goods being sold. So it just shows you that Touhou has been really, really popular in the Japanese fan community. So, what is Touhou? Oh, and one last slide. This is a screenshot of all the people selling Touhou at Comiket. Up to the second, it's really hard to see this, but up to the second pillar, everyone down in that hall are selling Touhou-related items. And there's also a few cosplays running around, but it's kind of small, so it's hard to see. So I'm going to show you a short little replay of what the Touhou looks like. And Touhou was really a game. So Touhou is originally a game. It's a video game released by it's a video game released by a person named Zoom. You can see copyright 2002 Zoom, all rights reserved. And let me show you a replay from this game. Okay, so in this game, you control one character who is the black character that you see in the very center of the screen, and she's shooting bullets from the top of the screen. And the objective of the game is to kill all the enemies that appear from the sides of the screen and try to dodge all the bullets that shoot at you. So you can see that the enemies are shooting bullets at you. And ways that you can help you play, as you go along is to collect power-ups and points. So the red things are power-ups, and they make your bullets get stronger and get more bullets. And then the blue things are points, and to get enough points, you get extra lives. So usually collecting points is a good thing. Some features of the game include a mode where you can slow down. So if you hold down one key, then you'll go into focus mode, and that means that you'll move a little slower. So that means that it'll be easier to control your character as it moves around and tries to dodge bullets. So notice how she's moving a lot slower now. So you should dodge bullets a lot easier. Or it makes it easier to dodge bullets. And then another feature of the game is that if you get really close to... Okay, so that was a bomb, and you have a limited number of bombs. You can see the number of bombs on the right side. They're the green little stars. And they will usually clear the screen of bullets and give you a couple seconds of invincibility. So this is the boss. Every so often at the end of the level and middle of the level, there will usually be bosses. So this is the mid-boss for the stage. In fact, you can see a couple cosplayers of this boss in the audience right now. So one thing that I mentioned earlier is something called graze. And that is a feature of this game to make it a bit more challenging. And what happens is, when you play this game, bullets don't kill you if they hit your sprite, like your character image. The hitbox that you will die when bullets hit it is actually a really small rectangle. It's only about 5 pixels big, 5 pixels large. So usually bullets can hit your head or the back of your sprite or the side of your sprite, and they won't kill you. And if they do, it's called graze, and it gives you more points. So one thing that pros try to do when they challenge themselves is to get close enough to bullets so that you graze them, but they don't hit your hitbox, and so you don't die. So that's something you can do to try to get more points as you get better at the game. You can, if you look on the right side of the screen, so the very top number is your score, right? You have max score and your current score. You have the number of lives, that's player stars, the number of bombs. You have your power level. So right now, the person's in the max power level, so picking up more red power-ups won't make his weapon any stronger. You have the graze, so that's the number of bullets that you've gotten to be grazed. And then the last number is the number of point items you picked up, like those blue things. Are there any questions so far about the gameplay itself? Yes?
Well, I actually got trouble very close to my brother. So, what I had trouble with was the controls.
Oh, okay. So, if you get the game, then the controls are pretty simple. The arrow keys are to move around, and you can move in 8 directions. The Z key is you just hold down the fire. You can also change the game mode so that the Z is a bit different. It's more arcade style, but the default controls is you hold down Z to fire, you hold down Shift to go to focus, so you go slower, and your shot will usually change. So different characters have different shots, like different types of bullets they shoot out. But very often, if you hold down Shift, then your shots will become more focused, and that makes it easier to kill bosses because you get all the bullets hit the same target. If it's spread out, then most of the bullets miss, and then it takes a lot longer to kill the boss. And then the last button is X for a bomb. And escape obviously is the pause menu. I believe that's all the controls. It's not a very complicated game, like control-wise. All the complications is all the dodging and ability. So this is the final boss for this level, and her name is Flounder Scarlet. And so you see some numbers on top of the screen. So on the very top left is the number of lives that Flounder has. So right now Flounder has 7 lives. And every single life has a certain amount of hit points, and hit points is that white bar that's gradually growing smaller. And then on the right side is another number that, as you see, is counting down: 46, 45, 44, 43. So all the bosses are a bit different from normal enemies in that they stay there for a long time and they have a lot of hit points. So one thing that makes the bosses special is that they have spell cards. And spell cards are specific patterns of shots that the bosses will shoot. And they usually have names, and sometimes they will have specific songs, that it will play when they have that card. So these spell cards will usually last a certain amount of time. The counter right there, right now it's at 48. Oh, and he just died, so he lost some power-ups, and his bombs are refilled. So that's I guess a consolation prize. And then so the counter. What you can do to kill the boss is usually 2 ways. You either deplete the hit points for that spell card, or for that life, or you wait for the time to run out. So for some spell cards that you will see later, there's no hit point. There are no hit points, or there's no hitbox basically. So you can't damage the boss. And what happens is you just wait for the time to run out. And so those spell cards are pretty hard. Yeah, so usually if you kill the boss before the time runs out, then you get a little more points. Any more questions about the game itself?
Is there a story, or is it just strictly shooting?
Oh yeah, I'll go to the story after we get back to the presentation. But so the 2 main characters of Touhou are me. I'm Hakure Reimu, the Shrine Maiden. You can see a picture over here also. And the secondary main character is Marisa Kirisame, who is the witch in the black robes and hat that is playing right now. Any questions? Yeah. So in the game, not only can you play different characters, but very often all the characters that you can play will have different types of shots. So there's like, so for example, like in the replay stage, so like Marissa A and B, that means that if you play Marissa, you can choose between two different types of bullets. So you can either shoot, these straight bullets, or you can shoot lasers. So there are two different bullets that you can use, and that's what the replay is meant. So those are just replays using different characters, or different bullets that you can choose. Any other questions?
And is there sequels? Like sequels, like there's 1, 2.
Yeah, so there are quite a few Touhou games. The Zune, the creator, has made almost one game a year for the past 8 years.
So how much games
So this specific game is called Embodiment of the Scarlet Devil, and it is the 6th Touhou game to release. But it's the first game that was released on Windows, so the previous games were released for a very obscure computer system called PC-98. So most people did not hear about Touhou before this game was released. So as you can see here, there's no flounder. You can't see flounder, so there's no hitbox to hit, and that means that all you can do is just try to wait out until the timer runs out. So right now it's 60, so you have to wait another minute for the timer to run out in order to kill flounder, or in order to defeat this spell card. Oh, that was a bomb. So you have a limited number of bombs, and if you see on the right side, there's a green star and the word bomb next to it, so that's the number of bombs you have. And you press X to release a bomb.
What's the latest one? Latest game?
The latest game is
Very Ward.
8. Yeah.
Very Ward.
So Zune has also been releasing like side games that are not part of the main canon or main story, not part of the main series, that use the same characters and have similar gameplay, but are different varieties of the games. Well, yeah, but they're not like they're not like the same style of game, I guess. So storyline-wise, yes, they're part of the storyline, but they're not like Danmaku, pure the same style as these.
Who's she fighting?
Oh, this is Flounder Scarlet still. She has, I think, 7 or 8 lives at the beginning. 9 lives. 9 lives.
Her name?
Flounder Scarlet.
No, the name.
Yeah, the enemy's name is Flounder Scarlet. The player is Marissa Kisame. Yeah, he did it. So. This is not my replay, this is one of my friends, so I can't play this well. So yeah. This is fun. So, as you just saw, Touhou was originally a game, and the genre is called Danmaku, or bullet curtain. And as you see, there's quite a few bullets on the screen, and one of the biggest challenges of the game is to dodge the bullets. You can see the screenshots of other levels from different games. And every traditional game, the ones that are numbered without a numbers without a 0.1 or 0.3 or something, all the 1, 2, 3 through 12, they have 6 stages and 1 extra stage. and usually there are a couple of mid-bosses in all the stages. And so the stage I just showed you was the extra stage for the 6th game. So, who created Touhou? The group is called Team Shanghai Alice, but the only known member is Zun, whose real name is Junya Ota, but he uses Zun to to sign all his games, and so all his games are created by Zun. And he started to make the games in college, or started to make games in college, but he started creating music when he was in junior high school, and then he later went on to work at a video game company. And as you see in this picture right there, his greatest love is for beer. So he always talks about drinking beer and during his commentary and stuff like that. So that's something that he likes a lot. And he always wanted to make a game that he liked. Touhou was like a type of shooting game. He likes shooting games, and he also likes the music. So he composed his own music, did his own art, and then he wrote his own game, type of game that he would want to play. So, as I briefly mentioned before, he's been creating quite a few games since 1996. He made a couple games while in college, from 1996 to 1998. But those were from Piece 98, which not that many people have. So it wasn't really well known at the time. And then he started making games for the PC, starting with Touhou 6 and Blood Star Delta 2, which is what I just showed you. And then ever since then, almost once a year, he's been releasing at least one game of some sort. He's also helped out or worked on side projects. So there's a series of fighting games that are released by another company another group called Tasogade or Twilight Frontier. And that's 7.8, image processing power, 10.5, and 12.3. And then there's also 9.5 and 12.5 are a different variety of Danmaku. It's not the same ones as these with the 6 stages, one by one. But they're there's only the bosses and only spell cards. So you don't have to worry about all the small enemies before the boss. And then the last game, 12.8, is a sort of really fun Cirno-centered game. So for people who like Cirno, who's this character over there, it's really cool. It's a really cool game. Not only has he made games though, Zun has also released lots of manga or he has written for lots of manga. Almost all the manga he doesn't actually do the art for good reason. And so he's written quite a few manga series and also some novels to elaborate more on the Touhou universe and all the characters that are involved. Because usually for all the games, he brings back very few characters into each consecutive game. Very often a character will appear once and then won't appear again. Usually only the playable characters will appear multiple times. You don't fight the same bosses that many times. Usually not more than once or twice. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but in fighting games you can use many characters, so that's really cool. So the main characters, Hakurei Reimu, who's a shrine maiden, or Miko, and Marasaki Same, who's a magician and a witch. As probably not surprisingly, Hakurei Reimu lives in Hakurei Shrine, and the world that Touhou is set in is called Gensokyo, which means land of illusions. And in this place, there live lots of yokai. And yokai is just a Japanese term for demons, spirits, gods, sprites, kappa, oni, ogres, and also other spirits from Japanese folklore. And actually the name Touhou means east side. So the whole game is centered around Japanese mythology. And actually I went to another convention before where they just talked all about Japanese mythology and how it relates to the Touhou project. And that was pretty cool. So a lot of the characters are taken from Japanese mythology. But there's also a sprinkling of Western mythology, like a witch who's dressed pretty in a Western style, with a black hat and stuff. So Marisa is more from and her name sort of sounds Western. And every single game has a very similar storyline in that while working at a shrine is noticing some problem. Sometimes it gets too dark, the sun doesn't come up, or the spring goes away and it's endless winter, or there's these UFOs flying all over the place and everyone's wondering what's going on. So usually there's some problem going on with Gensokyo. and Reimu feels like it's her duty to go and fix it up and go beat everyone on the head with her spell cards and her go ahead. Yeah, that's what. Thank you. And using Danmaku instead of like real fighting. So no one dies in Touhou, fortunately, I guess, for people who like all the characters. Danmaku was a system so that people could fight without killing each other. That's the story behind it. So she goes around defeating the 6 bosses, through all the stages, and then everyone gets happy and stops messing around with the world, and they all drink it afterward. One thing to note about the character art is you can see on the left side is Zun's art from, I believe, the 6th game, Reimu and Marisa, and then it's okay, but a lot of you probably have seen a lot better pictures of Touhou made by lots of various fan artists, and so it's a running joke, I guess, that Zun can't draw, and he can't draw finger, and he can't draw feet, and he can't draw many different things. So a lot of people take it upon themselves to take the character designs and then embellish it in their own style. So for example, on the right are the two pictures from the fighting game that was released by Tasagata Frontier. So they weren't drawn by Zun. And oh wow, I'm really excited. So Touhou became really popular, and some examples of how popular it got is all the games. Because Zun said at first he's like, okay, I'm done writing games, but then everyone's like, no, keep making more games. So Zun went out and made more games, and they're still doing it to this day. And this is a screenshot from a DVD that was an anime that another Doujin group created. So this is also non-commercial, people make it by themselves. And it's an anime using Touhou characters, and it's really awesome. And just like a week ago or something, no, last week, 2 weeks ago at Comic-Con, they released, this group, My Kaze, released a promotional video for the 2nd episode of this anime. So I'm really excited. And Doujin, as you can expect, is not only just games and manga, but there's also tapestries. People also make their own games based on Touhou, so you can follow the games based on Touhou. You can also find a lot of remixes of the music and stuff like that. So here's a screenshot of some games. There's a mixture of Marisa and Mario, Touhouban, where you play Pokemon, but you have Touhous instead, so you catch all Touhous. And that's the screenshot from the cover of PatchCon. There's also Touhou music. If you go online and search Touhou music, you can find gigabytes and gigabytes and gigabytes of every single year at Comic-Con people release remixes of Zun's music, because a lot of people like his music. And most of, probably the best way to hear about Touhou is through the music. Or the most common way people hear about Touhou is through the music. So what do people like about Touhou? This is an inside joke for people who have already known Touhou, but Pocket Reimu has these really weird sleeves. So people think that people like her armpits or something. So, first of all, the games themselves are a very well-polished product. And many people I know really like to play the games. And there's definitely a big community out there who share replays and test themselves. So, for example, I mentioned how there's a timer that if you runs out, you can beat the stage without killing the boss. Well, some people play the game pacifist mode, where they don't shoot any bullets. They just survive until the end of the game. And that's really, really hard. Because sometimes the bosses will shoot out almost impossible sequences of bullets at the very end of the timer that normal people won't get to because they'll just kill the boss in the first 20 seconds. But if you wait the whole minute, then it gets really, really hard. So there's a lot of challenges around in the games, and Zun is definitely a big connoisseur of Danmaku, so to speak, or so he really knows his stuff, and a lot of people really enjoy playing his games. The music, I was playing, a music video earlier. I was playing some music outside, and you probably heard the music that was from the level I just showed you. But a lot of people like taking Zun's music and remixing it. My favorite circles are Iosis, Cool and Create, and Silver Forest. But there's hundreds and hundreds of other circles around. But after people create the music, then some people create videos as well. So, for example, there are videos like Overdrive, that's the one on the left, and Chino's Perfect Math Class, which is one on the right. And in fact, Chino's Perfect Math Class has a dance associated with it, which there was a panel about yesterday, which some of you might have gone to, which I thought was really cool. So let me show you just a short video. Or, let's see. So for example, this is Chen's perfect math class. So if you're at the dance panel, you recognize the song. And this is the video that they released to promote it. For those who haven't played the game before, what they're making fun of here is in the 6th game that I showed you, the second stage boss, right, is Cirno. And when she fires her bullets, there's a part where if you just stand right in front of her, you won't get hit by them if you play the easy stage. So if you play her level in easy mode, then there's one skill card where you can just stand right in front of her and you won't get hit. So that's one of the things she's known for, is being really stupid and easy to beat. I'll explain the 9 later. So this is making fun of how you stand right in front of her and you won't get hit by her bullets. So. Okay, so that was an example of one of the Iosis videos. Iosis is the group on the left, and they created that video and that song, as well as many other popular songs like Minus So the Princess Thing and Overdrive. Characters. The last thing that many people like about the show, other than the game, the music, is the characters. And there's a lot of characters. How many characters?
It's over 9,000.
Not quite, but there's definitely a lot.
Over 9,000!
Yeah. So there's quite a few characters out there, and Zune is really good at creating character designs that are really unique and different from each other. So a lot of people have a lot of fun, taking all the characters, cosplaying them, or writing fanfics about them, drawing cool artwork with them, and stuff like that. So it's definitely something a lot of people enjoy, is taking the characters and creating fanfics with them. And then what are the few things that caused Touhou? I think one of the reasons that caused Touhou to become popular, like above some other, above other franchises. Oh wait, no. So this is just some stats. So if you look on Niconico, the top 2 videos are both videos that take Touhou songs and make videos out of them and remixes. So top one's Bad Apple, I showed before the panel, and then the second video is I can't read it.
McRolled.
It's popularly known as McRolled or Moranru, where they took the song from the stage I played earlier, the Flanders music, and then they took Ronald McDonald and made him like dance and say really weird words to it. So it's really funny, and you'll see it all over the internet. Yeah.
Another example is the Nico medley is at least 1/3 Touhou.
I can come back to it. But so there's these things called kumikyoku, and there are these medleys that are released by people who just put lots of popular songs together. And Touhou songs are definitely one of the most popular songs that are put in there. Like there's usually multiple Touhou songs in many of the medleys, whereas many other anime only get like 1 or 2. So it's definitely something that really captured the fans' attention, is like Zu's skill at creating music. And Zu's music is definitely very catchy among many of the Touhou fans. Pixel is a Japanese website for putting up your own art. So it's sort of like DeviantArt, but it's all in Japanese. and most of the art is usually anime and manga style. And Touhou is the very first tag. It's right here. That's Touhou in Japanese, and it has the most at 600,000, I think. So there's a lot of Touhou art out there. And if you go into any like Buru nowadays, it's just full of Touhou art. So there's definitely a lot of interested artists out there who like Touhou characters. And I guess it shows you how Zoom's good at creating character designs that are pretty interesting. And I think one of the things that makes Touhou different from any other franchise is the fact that it's Doujin. So Zoom created Touhou by himself, and he has always has always up until now released Touhou like by himself, and he hasn't like gone to a company and said, oh, won't you guys help me make this and sell it for me? He's always done it by himself, and he wants to keep it in the Doujin scene. And one of the things that I find really significant is in 2008, 2 years ago, Niconico, which is the website I showed you earlier, which a lot of flash videos and memes and stuff like that get popularized. They start taking down lots of anime related things like Mads specifically that had copyrighted products in it. Like Gainax or Sunrise or Koshin IG, Disney. All these different companies that sell and make all your manga and anime that you get it from. They don't like you putting up characters that they make onto Niconico. So instead, people go, oh, all these companies don't like us creating stuff with it, so why don't we, go to Touhou instead? Because Touhou is, free and everyone can create stuff with it. And Zoom, really likes when people create stuff with Touhou. So, yeah, I think it's something that makes Touhou different from any other franchise you might see in the dealers hall. Because the creator of Touhou really likes it when people create stuff. In fact, I'm thinking of Doga right now, if you go on the video homepage, then there's actually, I don't know if you can read, but right here, it says Touhou. So there's a whole category just for Touhou. Incidentally, there's also a category for Vocaloid and Idolmaster, for those who know what those are. So it's definitely really popular to make videos and stuff using the characters and the music. As I said, Zoom really likes it when people create stuff. And one thing that everyone can do is create your own artwork and create your own music using the whole characters. So, and Touhou is very much a fan-based creation. So very often, Zoom will look at what fans are doing and might incorporate some of their ideas and theories into his own work. So that's something that's really cool that not many other companies will do. Is look at the fans and say, oh, what do you think will happen to this character, and they'll take some ideas. Some of the issues that have come up is commercialization, where commercial companies go and take these characters and put it into their work. And so Zoom doesn't usually take royalties for it. So companies get free advertising basically from the whole community. And so, for example, these plushies are from Gift, which is a company that makes plushies and dolls. And so Zoom has said, as long as people recognize that. As long as people recognize that it's from a doujin originally, then it's not from from an anime or a manga or something, but it's actually a doujin game. Then Zoom's okay. I see there. Then Zoom's okay with people creating works based on this stuff. One of the problems that people he has encountered before is the Mayakaze anime that I showed you a screenshot earlier uses very popular voice actors. So people who might have heard this anime might have had a misconception that it was from some anime company, but it's actually from a doujin group, which makes it very different from an anime production studio, because they're not really concerned about the profit, but just the interest in the series and not just making money. So that's something that Zoom really wants people to pay attention to when they make Touhou merchandise. And Comic-Con's just one of the conventions in Japan, and it sells, you can sell anything you want. But Red Taisai is a convention devoted just to Touhou. And so if you see a convention like ALA, you see people selling all sorts of different things. But Red Taisai is where over 1,000 people sell only Touhou goods. So it's huge, and it's really, really cool. You can find all sorts of different things there. And also, Zoom uses it to, share his games, because sometimes Copycat doesn't come fast enough, and he wants to just sell his games earlier. So he usually either announces or sells one of his games there. And As of 2008, there were more than 1,000 circles. Yeah. So there's figures, there's music, there's books. If you go to Japan, you can also find. Oh, thank you. You can also find music CDs and lots of other stores where there's lots of Touhou merchandise. So there's like cups down here and lots of like keychains and stuff like that. So to wrap it up, I thought I'd introduce you guys to some memes that would, I guess, enter you guys into the Touhou community. So the first one is Yukkuri, which you will hear a lot, I guess, now. And it originated from Touhou, at least the meme did. And in English, it means take it easy. And the way it originated was, in Japan, there are lots of bulletin boards. And in bulletin boards, you can't post pictures, you only post text. So usually people you do ASCII art, like on the left there. Except the ASCII art that this person did was kind of, not quite proportional. It was like really pudgy and stuff. So the person next after him commented, "Yukkuri, take it easy." And those two, the saying and those pictures became, tied together into a meme. And now any bobbing heads of Touhou characters that look like those are called Yukkuris. And there's a whole environment where Yukkuris live in, and read all about doujins where you talk about Yukkuris and their lifestyle and who eats them and what they eat and stuff like that. So it's pretty funny for people who like these heads. Cirno number 9. So Cirno is a character from the second game. She's that one over there, and her claim to fame is that she's the stupidest character. And what happened was, like I said, in the 6th game, she had like this level where you could beat her by just standing in front of her and you won't get hit. Well, the fans made fun of that and always called her, the idiot. And Zun saw the fans making fun of Cirno, and when he brought back Cirno to the 9th game, he had a rule book where he explained, or like a guidebook saying, oh, here's how you play the game. And the screenshot of the guidebook is on the right, and it's really hard to see. But on the very bottom, there's some numbers and some words, and then the numbers are on the screen saying, here's 1, here's your hit points, here's your lives, here's the enemy, here's you. So Cirno is on the right side, the right player, with a 9 next to her. And so normally you expect it to say like, CPU player or opponent or something. But instead it just says baka, which is idiot in Japanese. So Cirno is just known as baka, or number 9 now. And those 3 words are almost always synonymous with each other. So usually you'll see people calling people, oh, you're a 9, or I'm a 9, or I'm Cirno or something, and that just means you're an idiot. So it's not really a good thing. So another meme that I thought was really funny is popularized by a skit done by Yellow Zebra, where one of the characters is Chen on the left there, who's Shikigami, which is like a familiar, to Ran, who's on the right. And so I'm going to play a little bit. Shikigami is familiar? Oh. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
はいどうもこんにちは。ヤクモチェンです。頑張っていきましょう。はい。あ、何？あの子たち。何か見えたのかな？いや、なんでもないです。そう。いやでもですね、毎年恒例この季節を受けましてどう来たんですか？我々の主人、ゆかり様の冬眠の季節。
Oh, so Ran and Chen are both servants of Yukkuri, who is the extra boss for 7.
毎年平和に安眠できてるかわかる？眠りが深いからですか？違うよ。ご主人様が目覚めないように私がいろんなものから守ってるからよ。そうなんですね。そう。我が家の上空を飛んでる雷音頭とかカラス天狗とか脇を見せびらかしてる人間。ちなみに、そう。私が知らないところでそんな仕事をしてたんですね。そうよ。でも最近私も忙しくなってきたから今年からあなたにやってもらおうと思ってるの。私が？そう。うるさい連中が来たら追い返すの。あら？怖くて文句言えないのかしら？何をおっしゃいます？ガツンと言ってやりますよ。言えるの？本当に。私も立派な養生ですよ。へえ。じゃあ練習しよう。はい。今から息吹スイカに化けるから、うまく追い返してね。わか 何ですか？ KC だ。 KC って何ですか？声がちっちゃい KC だ。 KC ですよ。完璧な KC じゃん。 KC 嫌です。嫌でしょ？ちゃんとやりましょう。はい。にゃー、うるさいな。うるさいぞ。この鬼入っちゃった。チェーン、痛いわ。言いましたよ。言ったんだ。はい、わかった。チェンはあれだ。KCY だ。 KCY って何ですか？声がちっちゃいよ。 KCY です私。完璧な KCY じゃん。 KCY 嫌です。嫌でしょ？嫌です。雷に負けないくらいに大きく。大きく。そう、大きくよ。にゃー、なんで隠せるよ。なんで隠せる？上げすぎ。びっくりした。自分でびっくりした。
Okay, so I want to stop it there. So that was what I think popularized the meme Chen, which you'll see sometimes in lots of different places. And then the last thing, I believe, is another skit. Called Gensokyo Call and Response by a group called Sekenya.
よりご挨拶がございます。どうも。ただいまご紹介に預かりました社名丸。どうも。喋ってもいいですか？ご紹介に預かりました社名丸あやでございます。さて、私めがこの度の賞を授かるにあたり、まずは取材に協力していただいた幻想郷の幻想郷の方々にこの場を借りて深く感謝いたします。協力といってもむしろ私の方が勝手に取らせてもらったんですけどね。今日は取材じゃないんですから答えてくれなくても結構ですから。はい。まあそんなわけで数々の紆余曲折を経て無事発行と相なったブンブン丸新聞。特に印象に残っておりますのが工馬館の名誉長である伊沢より咲夜さんの密着取材をさせていただいている時に、まず向かったのが白玉楼じゃないですよ。もっと森の方の降臨堂。私も取材に使っているペンを店主の森近凛之介さんに見繕っていただきまして、その後に続けて買い出しに向かったんですよ。私も気分が良くてですね、メイド長ともう一人その時ちょうど降臨堂に訪れていたユアキュンは私はこの間歌ったな。スッパサガットだ。サガット歌いがアパカリグルはまあほっといていいかな。白岩さんってどこの白岩さんだこの野郎。スッパ天候だ。焼き鳥とか言うなかわいそうだ。聞くのもマリさん近いよ。スッパ天候だ。天候違うよ。チェンかけて。いやーってそれは誰かさんだな。どこの誰だお前は。稲葉の松葉ウルトラサウンって言い出すんじゃないよそういうこと。小町スケベティブリの人。うるさいよさっきからシャースケベティブリギャラどこのあっただ。会話するなお前ら。そのために反逆してる。じゃないよ。コーヒー代会話すんなお前ら。よく聞け蓬莱人形。俺は蓬莱人形。回るボーイってボーイなんだ。見るボーイからスケベティブリはやっぱりスケベティブリうるさいよさっきから。なんだもうメソンさは関係ないな。超必殺の黙れよお前ら。種ゴマもうバカだなお前ら。幻想郷だよ。石鹸頭を使えよこの野郎。おいもうないか。神社どこの神社。おお鮭 そうそうそうそう白麗。よし、じゃあまとめて言うとせーの白麗。はい、神社の貧乏人。はい、正解。シャメイバルじゃないよ、クイズじゃないんですよ。スピーチなんですよ。いちいち合いの手入れられるとね、調子狂っちゃうんですよ。もうやめて。スケベ DVD ドスケベ DVD やろ。スケベ DVD つまり出せんだろ。やろう、バカにしてんのか。取材とは命をかけた弾幕である。シャメイマル、シャメイマル。もううるさい。うるさいよ。シャメイマルは向こうでテニスをしています。このような光栄な賞をいただいたわけですが、まだまだ未熟者の私、未熟者目が天狗の身でございますが、くれぐれも天狗にならないよう、これからもどうか末永くご指導ご鞭達のほどをよろしくお願いいたします。かの有名な武道の達人で天狗の面をつけた大正解、シャメイマル。おつれい。いやー、今のいいの取れたね、絶対。
So that had a lot of different anime references in it. So the more anime you've seen, the funnier you would have thought that movie was. There was some Hayate, Gundam, Dragon Ball.
それでは毎年恒例カラス天狗による新聞
Kogia, some other stuff. Does anyone have any questions? I'm pretty much done. So. Any questions? Yeah.
Is Touhou and Vocaloid related to the franchise?
No, Touhou and Vocaloid are completely separate. I just like both of them, which is why I gave the panel on both. But one thing that, in my opinion, has really common about both of them is that they both have popularized music as opposed to just only art. And because the Touhou music is really popular, the Vocaloid music is really popular. I think that's what makes them so special compared to every other franchise. Is that it's music by itself that makes it popular. Yeah.
Given the recent phenomenon with Bad Apple and CNN's rather botched reporting on it, and of course the subsequent rising awareness of Touhou, what do you think is going to come up? Is going to come given the increased awareness?
I don't know. I think any awareness for Touhou is a good thing as long as people know eventually that's a game. So it's yeah.
And it's a Doujin game, correct?
Yes, it's a Doujin game. So I feel like because it's a Doujin game, the whole community is based on interest and people making stuff for it. So I think the more people who know about it, the more people who will be interested in it, and the more people who will make stuff and contribute to the whole ecosystem. So I think it's really cool that it's getting so much more coverage. Yeah.
Is it available on Mac yet?
No. It is not available on Mac. You have to get an emulator or you're booting Windows.
I can correct that.
Really?
There is, yes, because crossover games are some things, and a couple people decided that, hey, they're doing this, we can just grab the wrappers that they used to launch their games and use that as a base pad. And well, I was playing last time.
Oh, so it doesn't work now?
Yeah, you have to do
Okay, cool. Okay, so it's possible, but it's not intended to be made for Mac. So Zoom did not make it for Mac. Zoom made it for PC. Yeah?
Where can you find these games?
The same way you find your anime, I guess. But it is a doujin, so you can find it on, I believe, Palette Web has it. It's like PALLETWEB. And it's a doujin game, so it's not released by any company or anything. So you have to just find it from retailers that also sell doujin stuff. You can just search online, I guess. But it's not like there's a company that's behind it. It's just Zoom selling it at Comic-Con and other conventions, really. Doujin does not equal hentai. That's a very bad misconception. Actually, there's a slide I have when I talk about Comic-Con, I think. Oh no, I didn't put it here. Anyway, but usually less than a third of what's sold at Comic-Con is hentai. So it's definitely not the biggest thing. Any other questions? Oh yes, hello?
You talked about the 6 normal stages and the extra stage.
Yeah.
Seeing something where in some cases there's a fantastic stage. What is that? What's the fantastic stage?
Okay, so every single game, Zune has created some different variations to the gameplay. So when I say 6 plus 1 extra, that's the general formula for most of the main series games. And so some of the games have different mechanics, and then you get to some secret stages as well. But not every game has that. So when I said 6 stages, it means all the games have this in common, but not every game has a phantasm stage.